This is Fred Allendale, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you, by way of the examples that I include in the Texturing HUD Kit Advanced, how a HUD would work and how the note card is set up to show you how to define each button on the HUD and what it will do to your target objects. So we've got the HUD kit delivery box. We've taken it into our inventory, so we can delete the delivery box at this point. And I'm going to res the example objects that I have here is a shirt and a vest. They're both mesh objects, have multiple faces. And I'm going to go down here and select the texturing HUD for the shirt and vest example, and we'll wear that HUD. And the HUD can be either worn or it can be left on the ground. It's your choice. Now initially when you res it, you'll see it says it's initializing here and initializing down here in chat. It's actually reading all the parameters off the note card that define what each button on the HUD will do. And when it's done, if it finds any errors, it'll chat those. If not, it will tell you that the HUD has read the note card, and here no errors are found, the HUD is ready, and the hover text goes away. Now this this HUD is just an example. You can lay out the buttons, the texture on the background, the locations of the color picker, whatever you want. Completely flexible. You can tailor it to however you whatever is right for your products. So just to make a quick demonstration, I've set up the first row of buttons here to texture the vest component. I've set up the second row here to, so actually the second and third row, to apply different colors and a few different textures to the shirt component. And then the last row of buttons demonstrates how single buttons can be programmed to actually affect two or even more independent objects. These are all essentially presets. They're not changeable by the users that you sell or give the HUD to. However, these buttons have been programmed on the config card to allow the user to pick a color from the color picker and then use these buttons to apply the user selected color to the buttons on the vest, for example, the outer vest, the inner vest, or to the shirt. So for example, if the left hand button is the default, is the way it was already res. If I click on that, you'll see it's retexturing the shirt. It'll apply a brown texture on there. It takes a little time for the texture to res. That's not a function of the HUD itself. It applies the textures almost immediately, but it takes a while for those textures to download from the asset server within Second Life. And so each button applies a little bit different texture to the vest, and gets it ready for the application of some of the other colors that I have later. Likewise, the shirt shows several different colors, some black shirt colors. This one's a blue. I can apply different colors to the shirt component. I'm not very artistic, so I just picked some pretty bold colors to demonstrate how it works. And then the last row is set up so that it affects both the shirt and the vest object. So this one, for example, puts a purple inner vest here and a blue shirt. This one changes it to a green and a brown shirt. This one has a red vest with a black shirt. And then this is sort of a blue combination. And then the color picker can be used. You can drag this around and you'll see the colors will change. This left hand bar is the currently selected color. It is the same layout basically as the color picker in Second Life. And you'll see also that when I release my mouse, the color that I've picked here also shows up on these user buttons because they've been programmed on the configuration card to get their color from the color picker. And the X and Y axis here control the hue in the X direction, and the saturation level is the vertical, so it's very gray down near the bottom, and then gets less and less saturated until, or more and more saturated until it's fully saturated up near the top. And then this third bar off to the right is the luminance scale, and that goes from black to the nominal saturated color all the way to white, so you can get various shades of pastels in between here. So you can basically create any color that you want interactively. And so you can see now if I apply this color, for example, to vest 2, you'll see how it looks on there. Same thing as if I apply the shirt here. I can move this over here and get kind of a violet color, and we'll change the shirt and the vest to that color. And you can also store these colors to the favorites button. So you can define a bunch of favorites buttons. You can have as many of these buttons as you want on your HUD. And if I want to store this, it's not real easy to see, I'm sure, on your screen, but each button has an upper and lower half, and I've pre-textured those with a store and load nomenclature. So if I want to take this item and store it to a favorite button, I click on the store. And then if I want to take a previously stored item and put it back into the color picker, I click on the lower part, which is load, and that puts it into the color picker as well as onto these buttons. So when I texture the shirt now, it'll come up with that button. If I come back, I can reload that violet button and go back to that. So you can store any number of favorites as well. Or alternatively, you can provide an RGB input. So when I click on RGB, I get a pop-up here. I can enter a series of values separated by commas that are the RGB. So if I enter, for example, 0 to 55, 0, that should be green. It's red, green, blue. So green is full on, and red and blue are full off. When I click on the submit button, now the color picker goes to that, and then I can apply that color to whatever objects I've programmed those buttons for, or I can store it in one of my favorites. The HUD also has options for resizing, so I can click on resize here. I can go in 10%. I can go another 10%, whatever, or I can go either down or up 5 or 1% increments. So it allows a fairly fine adjustment. The restore button lets me restore it back to the original size. You'll also notice there's a save button here. That will only show up when you, the original HUD creator, still own the HUD. You haven't transferred it to anybody yet. And what the purpose of that is to save the original factory defaults that you create, the size that you create, to the actual objects. They're stored in the description fields of the objects. When somebody then uses this HUD later after it's transferred, they will not see a save button, so they can't destroy your original value. They'll only see the restore button. So that provides a way to get back to the original size if they make a mistake. This lock-in button down here has the effect of deleting the scripts from these objects, and it's irreversible if you made these objects no mod, because they won't be able to put a script back in. But it eliminates the scripts. Actually, there's only a single script, but it eliminates the script from these objects to reduce any sim lag. But it locks in the color and texture and size of the object, and they can't be changed after that. Again, all these buttons are optional. You can include them or not include them in your HUD. The subscribe button here is for the subscriber kiosk, if you have one. And you'll see down here you'll get some feedback if you subscribe. In this case, I'm already in the database, so it's not gonna add me again. That's optional. If you don't have a kiosk, you don't have to use that button. Also, the HUD will stop operating for about 20 seconds due to the built-in delay for the email that has to get sent from the HUD to the kiosk, and it'll resume normal operation after 20 seconds. And there's also a join group that will let you go up here and join a particular group that you put the group UUID into the button description field. So this gives you an overview of what all the different types of buttons can be set up to do. Again, it's fully flexible. You can have as many or as few buttons as you want on here of each type, and you can have a color picker or not the color picker. Set it up any way that you want. That will end this tutorial. In the next one, I'll show you a little more detail about how you actually program what these buttons will do on the configuration note card, and we'll take it from there. So thank you very much for buying the HUD texturing kit advanced.